Hello all, this is Dr. Dave Maslach talking to you about reciprocity.com. The E is written with a 3, and in this particular video I want to give you some advice for someone that's actually thinking about doing a PhD. So if you don't know, I'm actually a professor of innovation strategy and entrepreneurship. Created this whole reciprocity project to give back as much as I possibly can because there are so many people that helped me out along the way to get my PhD. So I created this sort of sharing economy proofreading platform to help out people to get peer feedback on the things that they're working on, and then as well as I'm doing these YouTube videos because there is nobody out there that's doing this. Okay, so advice for someone thinking about doing a PhD. I think that there's several things that you should be considering going forward. So the first thing that I would do is think about where you want to be in about 15 to 20 years from now. Before you even sort of consider or apply to different PhDs and programs and things like that around the country or around the world, I want you to think about what it is that you are envisioning yourself doing in 15 or 20 years. If you want to become a CEO or a president of a particular company, if you want to become a professor, if you want to become, I don't know, whatever it is that you're thinking of, do the things that take you to get to that moment of where you're actually doing that thing. And it is really different in terms of what you should pursue, right? So if you're thinking of if you want to become a president or a CEO of a company, I would probably do like an MBA, for example, rather than doing a PhD. Or there's these things, and I have a couple of videos on them. They're executive DBAs or doctors of business administration programs. Harvard's weird, so don't look at Harvard's website. They're the sort of exception. There's maybe a few other exceptions like that, but generally they're programs that are geared towards people that want to go into practice and apply it that way. So if you're thinking of becoming a professor and doing academic research and focusing on that, then it makes sense to do a PhD because that's typically the only way that you can get into a tenure track position is that if you have a PhD or you've done the research route. If you want to work in a lab, for example, sometimes you can get away with just getting a master's, and that is totally fine, right? So if you go and you get an engineering degree and you just have a master's, for example, I was doing that for a while, and that was the way to do things, right? Like that would have been a lot easier to be in a research trajectory rather than doing a PhD. Going forward. Now, there are differences, obviously, but you want to think about the outcome that you actually want to get 15 to 20 years from now and pick the easiest route to get to that particular thing. So what do you want to accomplish? And then work backwards from what you're thinking about. So if you want to become an academic professor, if you want to become a business school professor, then you probably have to do a PhD. But if you want to do whatever it is, in industry, sometimes it's better to think about different routes. So if you already have a master's, for example, research master's, whatever it is, then, if you want to get in a higher level position in maybe it's a pharmaceutical company, go do an MBA. That would be the easiest route of doing things. So number 2, I think you want to shadow somebody who has a PhD first for a while. So I had a really fortunate position where I was working in a particular city. I was working in Calgary at the time, Alberta. And for whatever reason, I found somebody that was looking for a roommate, and it turned out this person had a PhD in mathematics. And so I really enjoyed my time with this person. I lived with him for 4 months. It was really fun, and it was interesting to find out this sort of lifestyle that sort of continues on, right? If you're 21, 22, 23, you can continue on sort of the university lifestyle by doing a PhD because that's what you're going to do, right? For the rest of your life is to do research and to just live that lifestyle, right? Of being a permanent student for a long time. So shadowing somebody, maybe, and then there's other ways that you can shadow people. I did a research assistant for a couple of years in my undergrad. You could do that in your master's, where you just work with somebody that's doing a PhD and you just do little odd jobs for them. Cleaning data, They're probably not going to get you to do laundry. That would be strange, but you never know. I guess that's I would never ask you to do that. Although if you wanted to, you can come over and do my laundry right now. That's totally fine. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, you want to sort of look for somebody that's doing that kind of stuff, right? So and then you're just doing little odd jobs that are research related relative to them, and then you sort of figure out what makes them happy, or if they are happy. Like there is a lot of people that get a PhD that aren't happy, and there are moments where there's ebbs and flows where you're really kind of bummed out, and then you get happy for sometimes. It's really kind of it's kind of a roller coaster thing, but I guess that's life as well. Um, the third thing is if you truly are thinking about doing a PhD and this is a thing that you really would like to do, then I would rank order the skill sets that you need that you think would get you to a certain point, right? To get you closer to that particular PhD, right? So then what you want to do, you sort of rank order them, and you can write it down, or you can sort of think about it and then prioritize what you need to do to get to that point, right? So if you want to do a PhD if you want to do a PhD in a business school, that's awesome. And what you can do is do maybe some computer science at the other side, because we're always looking for people that are interested in computer science. Or maybe it is that you really like writing and you're thinking of doing a PhD. Well, then you want to rank order how to improve your writing to get to that point, right? So you want to make sure that that is a thing, because there's lots of people that actually they don't do any of the sort of analytical stuff, and they're still doing a PhD, but it is much more oriented towards crafting a really nice story. And there are amazing individuals that do this kind of stuff. In fact, it's probably very highly valued if you're a great writer to do this. So if you're a journalist, for example, then you can do something like that, because you know what it takes to actually write well and to do that for a long time, repeat it over time. So look at the skills to become a journalist, or you just kind of build your skill set as you go, and you continuously do that over and over and over again, right? Because you want to look for the things that will give you value, the skill set that will give you value in the marketplace for a PhD, right? So whatever that is, you want to prioritize those particular assets, those particular skills going forward. By the way, that's what I would teach in an MBA class. So the fourth thing is just really focus on doing one step at a time. So this is a career trajectory, and I'm getting you to think 15, 20 years out, but you have to think about it. It's going to be one day at a time. It's going to be 1 week at a time, and just do things incrementally, and eventually you will get there. It's slow, but you have to think about, how do you actually eat an elephant, right? So you do one bite at a time. It's going to take you a long time to actually get to that particular moment. I stole that from Dave Ramsey, by the way. So it's going to take you a long time to get to that particular moment, and just kind of appreciate that. Know that it's going to take a little bit of time to get there, but you're going to get there as long as you keep chipping away at it. And it's just a matter of just chipping systematically at going forward. So hopefully you like this advice. It's stuff that I wish I would have known when I was doing my PhD, so I do appreciate it. All right, and if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and do subscribe to the YouTube channel. It gives me some feedback. All right, take care. Bye.